Truck and bus drivers are trained professionals, but the bigger the vehicle, the bigger the blind spots. Don't linger. Pass with purpose or give the vehicle space. Stay visible, stay safe. America's pros rely on you. Paid for by FMCSA.
Are you really buying a car online on AutoTrader right now?
Really?
At a playground?
Yeah, really. Look at these listings from dealers.
Wow, your search can really get that specific.
Really?
And you just put in your info and boom, car's in your budget.
Mom needs a second, honey.
You can really have it delivered?
Really. Or I can pick it up at the dealership. One sec, sweetie. Mommy's buying a car.
Mommy, look!
I think your kid is walking up the slide.
Kyle, again? Really?
AutoTrader. Buy your car online. Really?
You're due for a change of scenery, so see yourself in Harford County with outdoor fun for everyone. Explore local hiking and waterways, great for fishing, kayaking, and boating. Spend an afternoon at one of the 11 breweries, distilleries, and wineries, plus outdoor concerts, festivals, and events every weekend. Conveniently located just off I-95. It's time you see what Harford County has for you. Plan your trip at HelloHarford.com. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Todd Nathanson.
And I'm Lena Morgan.
And this is Song vs. Song. This week, this may be my best pick matchup yet. I am so happy. We are doing Fleetwood Mac's Dreams versus Carly Simon's You're So Vain. Oh, God. I'm so vain because I love this matchup. Lena doesn't like this one. I don't know why.
You know, what's funny is that you know exactly why. I love that, like, you're playing coy, like you don't know the reasons, plural.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get into it, I suppose. But, like, to me, this is my best matchup. I am not doing this just to needle you. I'm very proud of coming up with this one. These are the greatest diss tracks of the 70s. They are, toweringly important pop songs. And you know what? I love them. I love them all, both. Perhaps equally, or perhaps not. We shall see. We've got a special guest in the studio, walking into the studio like he's walking on a yacht. Please welcome back Andrew Unterberger, friend of the pod, friend in real life.
Noted wearer of hats strategically dipped below one eye.
Yes. Nice scarf, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, I got to get the shade of apricot just right. Yeah, I am very curious to hear both your deeper reasons for this matchup and Lena's deeper reasons for hating it. I'm kind of 50-50 on it, but the one thing I definitely agree with is that these are like two of the great pop rock songs, whatever you want to call them, and two of the most important ones. I mean, talk about loving these songs equally. I think I mentioned to you when you were talking about me potentially being on this podcast, I told you that I had opened the email because, even I didn't know I was going to be on this, but I always vote in the polls. And I looked at the two names of these songs and I thought about it for 10 seconds and I was overwhelmed with emotion. I had to close it instantly. And I never even got around to voting for it because I just didn't know. It was too real. It was too heavy, too mega a matchup.
I mean, I've been wanting to do a Fleetwood Mac matchup for a while. The only thing that was holding me back is I couldn't find like a decent matchup. And also I also couldn't find one that didn't feel like a total and complete bloodbath. And quite frankly, when I put this up, it was like, I put this up because these are two so important and they're so fitting, I guess. They're so venomous to the both of them in different ways. But, I kind of think this one's going to be a bloodbath too, or at least that's what I thought before I put it up. We shall see if that's what happened. But like the world loves Fleetwood Mac. That's
a real thing. I mean, it shouldn't be a bloodbath because, we already said, like, these are two probably equally important, influential pop songs and equally kind of storied pop songs. But only one of these is still one of the most popular songs in the world, like right now. And so it's kind of hard to go up against that.
I feel like what You're So Vain has for it that Dreams doesn't is that its legend is slightly larger. It is slightly larger, but certainly the aura of Fleetwood Mac, especially Rumors, especially Dreams, has its own storied backstory that is it's basically mythology at this point. It's religion at this point. So I feel like this is a good matchup, but one of us disagrees. Lena, why did you get so mad at me?
So Todd knows that there are two reasons. The first reason is that I have long wanted to do a Dreams off, where either we were going to take two songs called Dreams, or just what's the best Dreams song. That was a thing that I wanted to do for a long time, and I don't feel that we can do it anymore. I think this is 100% stymied it. So that's reason number one. And then there's the other reason.
Which is?
I hate You're So Vain. Yeah, I don't know why you're pretending. Again, Todd is very well aware of my
this might have also been spoiled
disdain.
for me before the fact, yeah.
I fucking hate this song. I as is well known at this point, I hate hating songs, and I hate talking about why I hate songs, because the thing is, I don't really when you listen to Todd talk about why he doesn't like music, right? It's he's got some kind of math formula where everything balances out, right? You get to the end and even if you don't agree, you get it. My thing is just when I don't like music, it's like a taste aversion. It's just a musical taste aversion. I bounce off of You're So Vain so completely. I always have. And there's, I think, probably one reason in particular, which is the reason I think a lot of people in my age range don't like it, which is that I just remember being a kid and there used to be those ads for music collections.
Oh, jeez. Is that why?
Get all the 70s classics. And so the only part I ever heard of You're So Vain for a long time was just the You're So Vain, you probably think the song is about you.
That's a good part.
And every single time I heard that and only that, I thought, well, I mean, I guess that person is objectively correct.
No, it's working on so many levels. You're not getting it because you're a kid watching commercials.
I mean, I've listened to the whole song now. And I still think that. That is still my response to the song. And Carly Simon in general, I mean, we'll get into it. That is the short version. I don't like this song. I remember seeing this ad for it and it just turned me off. And I will say that a lot of the other songs that would be on those compilations, I have turned around on, but not this one. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to truly elucidate other than it just, taste aversion. But
I mean, I will admit this. The Monster Ballads commercial really ruined More Than Words for me because it just didn't clip well. You just more than words, and it's not the hook, not the catchy part of it, and it doesn't sound good. So
is there a catchy part to More Than Words?
You got to listen to the entire thing, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah, fair.
So I get that at least. And, like I said, I thought this was going to be a bloodbath. For me, the easy answer is Dreams until I heard the slander coming out of Lena's mouth. And then after that, I was so incensed. I was ready to be You're So Vain's Strongest Soldier because that is a great song. Do you agree, person who agrees with me?
Yeah. You're So Vain is, I don't know, one of my 25 favorite songs ever, probably. It's it is an absolute God level pop song to me. This is, I mean, you kind of have to start with talking about the impact of it because I think there is a real argument to be made that this is the single most impactful pop song of the 20th century on the way 21st century pop songwriting ended up in terms of the metatextuality of the lyrics and lyrics that sort of blur the lines between songwriter reality and songwriter fiction and inspire fans to go digging into Easter egg backstory type shit. And also are just very kind of extra and tonally messy. This is not a neat song. You call it a perfect song. That really just means that its impact is perfect. This is not really a perfect song. This is a pretty frayed at the edges sort of song.
It is kind of messy.
Yeah. And there's some lyrics on this song that kind of stink when you really get into them. But that doesn't mean that they're not brilliant. They're kind of brilliantly stinky lyrics, even the worst ones. And there's some lyrics on it are just absolutely brilliant. I had some dreams that were clouds in my coffee. I think that that's one of the great images lyrical images in pop song history. And the chorus, I mean, I understand bouncing off of it, especially because it was so overplayed as like a hit song and was just like overexposed in the culture in general. So it's kind of hard to remember that it's also fucking genius. Like the way it expresses the sort of extraness of the song and the way that it is about itself, but also isn't. And the way it's a diss of the guy, but in actuality, it's really more of a diss of Carly herself. And like, it accomplishes a lot, not actually doing that much. I don't want to talk about the intro yet, because I want to do like a solid like 45 minutes on the intro. But the way the song moves, like from one section to another, is really brilliant. And like the fact that it can take an intro, sort of just summarize the saying, like it's an intro that basically has nothing to do with the rest of the song, and make it feel like a really indispensable part of the song. And then still kind of go from that into the chorus, and every part of it like leads inexorably into the next part of it in a way that's really smart. And she's great on it. Like it's one of the great vocal readings, I think, in pop history too. And like just little things like the way she kind of leans into some of the lines a little extra, like, and you said that we were such a pretty pair. Stuff like that. I don't know. Like I think it's one of the most complete pop songs ever. I think it's one of the most effective pop songs ever. And it's just undeniable that it's one of the most influential pop songs ever. I mean, the first reason that you got in touch with me for this episode, Todd, was to just ask if I knew anybody who had strong feelings about the song. I don't know if you knew whether I did or not.
I did not.
And my answer was, yeah, Taylor Swift. Like, go get her.
And you gave me her number, and we were in deep discussion, but then she flaked on us. So, thank you for filling in.
Oh, I thought that it was just that I became available suddenly, and you decided that I was a better guest for this. That's disappointing to hear, but regardless, yeah, like this song is basically her entire raison d'etre. Like this song invents her shit, basically.
Boy, like when I heard that, I was like, just something about Taylor Swift unlocked for me. He was like, oh. It was like,
and she's basically said as much. Like she
said it. She said it's the best song ever written.
Not super wrong, if wrong at all. And she's not the only one either. I mean, this is a wildly covered song in terms of the biggest artists of today. Olivia Rodrigo did it when Carly was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
A pop star that is of particular interest to someone on this podcast also did it on tour a few years ago, kind of as one of her go-to cover songs. Have you heard the Sabrina Carpenter version of this song, Lena?
Nope.
Not interested?
You've listened to everything she's ever done.
I know.
What
maybe I'll get around to it. You would think that this podcast would be the time. Nope.
Yeah. Oh, I guess she did that on the emails I can't send to her. I saw that to her, but she didn't do it when I saw her.
Yeah, I guess it was one of the variable songs. I looked it up. She's done it like 15 times or so. So it's definitely a go-to of hers. And it always sounds pretty good. And it always sounds pretty authentic to whatever modern pop star is singing it, because it is a pop song that could function in a lot of ways in 2025, 26. I think it's funny to be talking about it as maybe the less relevant of the two songs in this discussion.
It's one of the biggest songs of its time. It's one of the biggest songs. The shadow coming off it is humongous. And I feel pretty easily that it is the lesser of the two that we're talking about, because, Dream, like the kids just love Dreams by Fleetwood Mac.
They do.
They love the
Dream.
story. Go on.
Dream sort of catches the other half of modern pop stardom in that, like, it's maybe the first number one hit that's just kind of a vibe. Like, there really aren't many hooks to it, or at least not the kind of big obvious hooks you would expect out of a 70s smash. It's actually kind of surprising in some ways that this became the Fleetwood Mac song and not something like Don't Stop or Go Your Own Way, or I don't know, Say You Love Yourself.
They're only number one.
They're only number one.
That's insane.
It's probably like, I guess this and Landslide are probably the two Fleetwood Mac songs that if you know one or two Fleetwood Mac songs. But it really has more to do with what pop music is now, which is just kind of catching a feeling and capturing it to its like absolute essence. And you can't deny that's what Dreams does.
I mean, it's also like an accidental COVID song.
True. Like there are very specific reasons why this song became popular again. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like what was it? It was like September 2020 when that TikTok dropped. And like, yeah, like somebody like just sipping some ocean spray, longboarding it down like the road, chill. Like, it was exactly the vibe that everybody needed in September of 2020. Like, literally every human being on Earth. So it's really hard to beat that. Like, that, I mean, I think the song is great, obviously, aside from that. But I do think that it makes a lot of sense that it kind of re-gripped. Like, I sometimes find myself thinking about something like that where you're like, what other song could have gone to that video that would have hit as hard? Is there anything?
I don't know. You know, I watched that clip over and over and over again, and I felt strongly in September of 2020 that things were going to be okay. That they were. No, like
shout out Nathan Apodaca for taking us out of the darkness.
No, it's just the moment where he stops drinking his juice and he breaks the fourth wall, which you didn't think existed because it's a TikTok. He breaks the fourth wall, looks you straight in the eye, sings the greatest song of all time, and then looks down the road with his arms out and is like, yeah, free as a bird. I was like, yeah, that's it. Can I say something amazing about Fleetwood Mac that I only found out recently? Fleetwood Mac wasn't cool.
Yeah?
No, this is insane to me because I was talking about, I was like, oh, you kids don't know. Back when in the 90s, when I first started listening to music, Michael Jackson wasn't cool. Prince wasn't cool. These were like faded pop stars, you know, had a few hits years ago. It'd be like Justin Timberlake now or like Gwen Stefani now. That's how we looked at them at the time. It's like someone, and my little brother actually chimed in. He's like, yeah, and Fleetwood Mac. I'm like, no, Victor, you invented that. That's not true. I was like, no, you can look it up. And, you know, there's an actual quote from Chuck Klossman in the late 90s or something like that. It's like, for the longest time, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors was considered, you know, just a big hit, but like in the same way that, you know, like, I don't know,
Frampton Comes Alive.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going for. Like, you know, sold a lot of records, but nothing you have to take seriously. Fleetwood Mac was like Three Dog Night or something. And like, even in the Simpsons episode where they're doing the All in the Family parody, they're saying Disco Duck and Fleetwood Mac as if those are similar things.
What I remember is, I mean, this is a little earlier, but have you ever seen the movie Sid and Nancy? The Sid Vicious, Nancy Spungen.
Oh, yeah, that's a good bit, yeah.
Yeah, there's the part where Nancy like catches herself in the mirror looking, I don't know, particularly witchy and haggard, and she goes, I look like goddamn Stevie Nicks. And that's like the worst thing that a person can look like as a punk. I mean, at that time, certainly.
She did look like Stevie Nicks. She was fucking around with her clothes, whatever. Let's see. It's like, and you know, like it made sense when I was watching that. It's like, it made sense that Nancy Spungen would not want to look like Stevie Nicks, but I didn't think, you know, that was like a widespread attitude until I saw that quote.
Well, I mean, like growing up in the 90s, definitely like they had been kind of whack for a while, just like as a real time outfit. Mm-hmm. Like they had, you know, they you remember Fleetwood Mac being very cool at the end of the 80s, and I don't know how cool they were, but they were certainly very popular. But then they had like a bunch of lineup changes. Some people left, and they recorded a couple other albums that didn't do anything that nobody even really remembers at this point. I was listening to their album from 1995 last year, and I was like, man, I didn't no idea this even existed. Like nobody's on it. It's like Christine, and that's it, I think.
Yeah, or it's like I thought it was just Fleetwood and Mac at that.
Maybe. And then in 1997, they have The Dance, which is their like live semi-unplugged album. That's a huge commercial hit, but it felt extremely VH1 and extremely adult contemporary and extremely, extremely uncool as like an 11-year-old. I didn't give a fuck about watching them perform Silver Springs or anything like that. That just wasn't what was moving in the youth culture. Certainly, they would have been around for over 20 years in that incarnation, over 30 years total. And I don't even remember what it was that sort of turned the key on that. It might have been like the late 2000s or something. But yeah, certainly like liking Fleetwood Mac and being like interested in Fleetwood Mac was not something that I really considered until I was probably college age and kind of diving back into pop history stuff. And if you were gonna ride for one Fleetwood Mac album, it wouldn't have been Rumors. It would have been Tusk, because at least that was weird and difficult and flopped and it was over ambitious and all that. Like that's like the Lindsey Buckingham purist album. But liking Rumors, it was
music nerds doing too much. I'm sorry.
Yeah, liking Rumors is it's like liking, I don't know. I guess it's like liking a Steven Spielberg movie, but even less cool than that. I guess it just wasn't a factor at that time.
Yeah, I don't know.
By the way, this episode is brought to you by Disclosure Day. Wait, I just want to say two things. One, obviously, you've talked about this when you were doing your best of lists, Todd, which is that, I mean, you brought up Sabrina Carpenter. She loves an 80s Mac.
Yes, and I also love an 80s Mac.
So, like, obviously, like, you know, the worm has turned enough that, like, you know, you brought her up for the Carly Simon thing, but also, like, Sabrina Carpenter, obviously, also influenced and has performed with Stevie Nicks. So I think that is also relevant. And the other thing I wanted to say...
You just don't want to give Carly Simon any kind of W. He's not putting a single tally.
No, I'm not. It's not that I'm trying to take something away. I just think it's interesting. And I also think... you know, I'm just using the limited knowledge I have, man. Like, I have a couple of artists that I know really well, and one of them is Tom Petty. And Tom Petty also worked with Stevie Nicks and very famously didn't want to. And that was in the 70s. Like, when I think people, like, have this perception that they must have been cool at that point. Well, Tom Petty didn't think they were cool. He thought it would be lame to work with Stevie Nicks. And it wasn't until he actually was in the room with her, and then he loved her so much that they made her an honorary member of the Heartbreakers.
Yeah, I just cannot imagine this. I cannot imagine a world where Fleetwood Mac was not cool. Talk about, you know, standing the test of time. And Dream specifically, I think I came to that one late. Like, the first Fleetwood Mac song I would have known would have been Landslide from the Dixie Chicks version / the Smashing Pumpkins version. And then I remember Go Your Own Way being played a lot on classic rock radio. And that was like the first one I really, really, truly loved. To the point where I think Lindsey Buckingham has become kind of underrated in the band. And then when I finally bought the album, the one that blew me away, because I had never heard this album or this song before, the one that blew me away was The Chain. And I was like, oh my God, this has to be the greatest song of all time. This is like, and for me, that is like the Fleetwood Mac song, because it is all of Fleetwood Mac. Like, that you don't have to choose between Christine and Lindsey and Stevie. So I don't remember exactly when Dreams became the Fleetwood Mac song. Like, it was their only number one, so arguably that makes it the number, but it didn't feel like that when I got into Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, I don't know if there was kind of one inciting incident there. I just sort of remember it was the cover that a lot of people drifted to, at least beyond Landslide. And it was the song that a lot of, like, the critics list started drifting to. And I also think that the longer Fleetwood Mac have gone on, the more the sort of multi-voice nature of the band has fallen away, and Fleetwood Mac has almost become
the Stevie Nicks story.
Yes, the Stevie and the Nicks, basically, which is a shame. But there is just something there's something so singular to Stevie and her essence. Like, I remember seeing them live for the first, I think, only time. They were at a classic rock festival that was playing at Citi Field. Lindsey Buckingham did this solo version of Big Love from the 80s, and it had this unbelievably complex picking arrangement on the guitar, and he was singing at the same time, and he was really just killing it. And I was like, man, there's so few people on the planet that could pull off what he's pulling off right now. And then Stevie came on and I think did Rhiannon, and she just kind of spun around one time, and it was like, okay, who the fuck is Lindsey Buckingham anyway? Like, forget about him. Like, Stevie Nicks, she can just kind of lift her arms, and that's more magical than anything that Lindsey Buckingham can produce with 100,000 hours of practice and all of the studio craft in the world. And she just changes the temperature in a room the way that only like 4 people in the history of pop music have ever done. And so, yeah, I think Dreams may or may not be the Steviest of the Stevie songs, but it is a solo right on her part. It feels like it captures something very important about her and her greatness. And it's just a vocal that nobody else would give on a song like this. Like, it was interesting to me to, like, do the research for this and learn that this actually wasn't supposed to be the main vocal for the song. She recorded it as a guide vocal to then, like, go back and do it for real later. Mm-hmm. The fact that it had that kind of casualness to it, I think, is a really, really important ingredient in the song. It's got this kind of rawness and, like, a very deeply felt intimacy to it that isn't on a lot of classic rock staples like this. And this really is a very unusual song to be a classic rock staple. Like, you think about hearing this song next to, like, Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin and Mississippi Queen by Mountain, it shouldn't make sense at all. But the song is just so powerful and so iconic, and her performance on it is so legendary that it kind of fits everywhere. And I should say, just because I've talked about my love of You're So Vain, and I am probably going to pick it. We haven't even done, like, the official picks, but I guess we've sort of informally done that by now. I am probably going to pick You're So Vain, if only because somebody has to. But Dreams is absolutely on that level for me. This is also one of the greatest pop songs of all time. One of my favorite pop songs of all time.
All right. Like, as an attempt to like impose some kind of structure on this, I like to break it down into 3 debates. Okay. First off, which one do you think has the better lyrics? Oh, like Lena's making a face. You know what? I'm taking You're So Vain on this one. How dare you? Can I say one of my favorite lyrics of all time? It's not the one about how you think the song's about you, and it's not the one about walking onto the yacht, which is the one everyone talks about. My favorite one is Your Scarf. It was apricot. I hear that and I get so angry. Fuck that guy and his stupid scarf. He's wearing a scarf to begin with, but it's apricot, and you just know that she said, it was like, oh, I like your orange scarf, and he was like, well, it's apricot actually, and then he flipped his scarf over.
That to me is like the ultimate brilliant stinky lyric on the song. Like, you would never want to sit down and write a sentence of words like your scarf. It was apricot. Yeah, but it works so well. I mean, Yoda speak is always. I hate Yoda speak on a song. When they have to do that to force the rhyme, I always dislike it. We are making an exception today. Yeah. To me, the lyric is in the 3rd verse when she gets to. Then you flew your Learjet up to Nova Scotia to see the total eclipse of the sun. What a vivid fucking image that is. Like, that's the Douche Chills lyric to me for sure. And apparently there actually was a total eclipse in Nova Scotia in 1972 that she sort of predicted on this song. But like that song, that lyric arrives at a place in the song where she shouldn't have had another level to get to. She's already been excoriating the sky for 2.5 verses. And that one line, man, that hits so fucking hard. I love that line to pieces.
Lena? It seems like you're dying to say something.
I'm not. Again, like you say this, like I enjoy it. So yeah. I think we've talked about this in the show before about me and my attachment to the last of the true Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan rom-coms. You've Got Mail, and there's a part towards the end where Tom Hanks is talking to Meg Ryan how he could never be with somebody who likes Joni Mitchell. And he's like, it's Cloud's illusion, I recall. I really don't know Clouds at all. What does that mean? Is she a pilot?
That's a stupid line. I have always kind of wondered what the deal was with the clouds and the coffee. It's just like,
and that's the thing. So like they were, I had some dreams. They were clouds in my coffee, clouds in my coffee. And like
a good line.
The way that the Joe Banks character feels about it's Cloud's illusions, I recall, which to me is a great lyric. Is the way that I feel about clouds in my coffee. And truly, like, this is the thing, right? Like, the absolute root of my issue with Carly Simon is that I hate her as a lyricist. I hate her lyrics. Like, the thing is that I just, like, especially, like, to me, like, that comparison point, right? Like, Both Sides Now came out first and, like, also used clouds. I mean, whatever. I'm sure there's plenty of songs that have used clouds as a metaphor. But, like, for me, as a person that does not know every cloud metaphor in the history of music, these are certainly ones that like I look at side by side, and one of them speaks to me deeply and profoundly, and the other one makes me like genuinely blow raspberries. Like I listen to that song and I'm just like, like it just bugs me. It just bugs me so bad. And like so many of those lyrics, it's just, but like it's not just Joni. It's like I'll take pretty much anybody. Like, you know, I think Joan Baez is better. I think that Carole King is better. Like, you know, I think that like there are so many singer-songwriters that operated in this era who as lyricists I prefer, and like they're not as even when they're hokey, right? Like I even like the artist that I find her most similar to is James Taylor, which is not surprising because she certainly works with him. And like, I also struggle with James Taylor because he's too cheesy for me. But like, there are lyrics that he has, which I'm like, these are deeply profound and affecting. And it's just the sound of his voice that makes me not understand how this man lived. Like, I'm like, this guy had like an addiction problem. He sounds like Fred Rogers. Like I just like.
That's what's great about James Taylor. We went into this during the
yes,
fire.
We
and
did.
rain.
We've literally like go back and listen to that episode if you want to hear me be sacrilegious about another great artist. But like, this is really like there are things about the way that Carly Simon sings that I also am not like particularly in love with, and I think that outside of this particular song, there are so many tracks that just feel really soulless to me. That are very like I'm so sorry. Poor Andrew Unterberger like shaking his head in the distance and like as a single tear falls. But like just in that way that like James Taylor just felt like an absence of like there's no fucking show way of saying like this is just like the whitest derogatory music I've ever heard in my life. Like You're So Vain, I don't think is like that at all. But a lot of Carly Simon's music for me is, and again, like if you're going to compare her to Joni Mitchell, which apparently I'm doing, Joni Mitchell goes the opposite way. Wanted to be a black man very badly. That's that's a whole other conversation. But like you can hear in her music that she is influenced by like a certain like multiculturalism is also the wrong word, but like there's just a lot going on there. And just to me, like, I tried. I was like, I'll just go through and be like, can I find some stuff? Like, am I going to be like a Boys in the Trees girly? And the answer is kind of. I guess of like all the albums I listened to of Carly Simon's, that was the one that landed for me at least a little bit. Like, I think You Belong to Me is pretty good, but like, I don't know, dog. Like, what else? What other fucking verses were we going to do? Were we going to do Nobody Does It Better? That song sucks too.
Oh man.
Like, so let me talk about Carly Simon for a second.
I'm ready. Let's have a counterpoint.
I don't think this counterpoint is going to be what you're expecting, but I will say Carly Simon does have 3 or 4 songs that I would legitimately consider some of my favorites of all time. Just absolute 10 out of 10 songs. Love them, would defend them to death. Nobody Does It Better is one of them. And yet, if you asked me, like, hey, you like Carly Simon? You're a Carly Simon fan? I'd be like, eh. She really needs to kind of get it right on the song. But the songs are kind of like playing roulette with her. For every one absolute classic, there's 10 I could really just as easily do without. And she also has like a couple of my least favorite songs of all time, too.
Mock.
She is really...
Yeah,
that's one of them for fucking sure.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of songs that she did with James Taylor, yes, it's deeply irritating.
Jessie, I don't know if you guys know that one. I would also consider that one of the worst songs I've ever heard. And also some lyrics on that, Lena, that if you think that You're So Vain is Clunker City, like you got to go and listen to Jessie for me. So I don't want to make it sound like I'm Mr. Carly Simon fanboy guy. I'm really not. But when she hits on a song, she really hits on the goddamn song. And can I also defend Clouds in My Coffee for a second here?
Of course.
It's the most Dreams by Fleetwood Mac lyric on that song.
That is certainly true. I always saw it, like, just in terms of like, what the fuck does that mean? I always saw it as like clouds being like creamer in her coffee, basically. And her dreams being like cream kind of dissipating throughout the coffee and eventually just kind of getting subsumed by it and disappearing. And like dreams of her relationship with, Mick Jagger or Warren Beatty, whoever you want to say the song's actually about, just kind of turning into nothingness very casually and unspectacularly. I think that's a good lyric. That accomplishes a lot.
I never actually thought about what it actually meant. I always kind of liked it just because it is the only symbolic lyric in the song. All the rest seem to be quite literal. And then you got this like one line in there that seems to like hint at something deeper going on versus it's not just you're an asshole, the song. It's, this guy being who he is has affected her somewhat, that she's having weird dreams about clouds in her coffee that matter to that. It means something. God damn it.
Really, my favorite thing about this song in general is that it's like the ultimate "don't put it in the paper that I got mad" song. Like the entire thing is just so seething with fury that she almost forgets to also make it a breakup song.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way the song goes, first verse is all about the guy being an arrogant prick, sure. Second verse is all about how, they had a thing once upon a time, but he was too much of a narcissist to make it last. And he gave up on the things that he loves. And one of them was her. And you start to hear the heartbreak kind of come out there. And you would think following that, the third verse would be all about her being like, oh, and I'm so glad I got rid of you. Or what was I ever thinking? Or just like warning other girls, stay away from the guy who's so vain, anything like that. But no, she's so furious at him that she just goes right back to talking about what a fucking asshole he is. And that's when you get him going to Nova Scotia to see the total eclipse of the sun. That's why the chorus works so well, I think, is because of that sort of self-defeating obviousness that really it's just her saying something that's totally illogical because she's so blinded by fury that she can't think rationally. And I think she sells that so well in every lyric of the song, but the chorus especially.
Yeah, and just going back to what we were saying about the Carly Simon oeuvre as a whole, we're not talking about Carly Simon. We're talking about You're So Vain, which is such, it so dwarfs Carly Simon's as an artist. The song is so much bigger than her. And I would say also I'm not, no one, like, can you imagine the person who prefers Carly Simon's entire oeuvre to Fleetwood Mac's? Like, that's that person doesn't exist. And for the record, I didn't really know much about Carly Simon, so I also did my research on this, and not a fan. I can tell you that Nobody Does It Better, bottom tier Bond theme, probably the worst of them. Like, I have never understood why people. It is the worst Bond theme, and it's also a bad song in its own right. It's certainly the least Bond theme. Like, what a boring, terrible song. Now we're both piling on you, Andrew. I'm sorry.
Well, I'll save the Nobody Does It Better defense for another podcast. Did you get to the song Why in your Carly Simon studies?
Let me remind myself. It all kind of bounced off me.
That's like the most anomalous hit in her catalog, and it wasn't even really a hit. It was a song produced by Nile Rodgers for the Soup for One soundtrack that did nothing commercially, but it's got kind of like a reggae dance, like dance floor bounce to it.
This one, okay.
Oh, come on! All right, now we might have to do an entire 2-hour thing about me.
That's not a this is a terrible song one. It's like, oh, it's this weird fucking one.
Yeah.
The thing is that I prefer when she does stuff like this. Like, that was it's like such a weird thing to say, but like, if you go through her oeuvre and you're like looking at like album covers, there's like a lot of them where it's like just her face, or like she's wearing like a mock turtleneck and some jeans or a long flowy dress. And you're like, that's that, like, certainly when you think of Carly Simon, that's probably the vibe. And then there are other ones where it's like, she's like scantily clad. She's like putting on dancing gear and shit. And like, as somebody that like, it's summer, and every summer I get closer to being like, I don't care what you think about my body. I am going to wear as little clothing as possible because it's hot out and I like what I've got. So like, somebody's going to be like, you big, like, do you hate women? You're saying you like the albums where she's wearing less clothes? It's like right now, in the moment that we're recording this podcast, that does speak to me on a visual level. But also, I've discovered that those albums seem to more likely lend themselves to her doing dancier tracks, which like I enjoy more. I still am not a fan of her as a lyricist per se, but like that gives me something to move to. And a lot of the stuff that I don't like of hers is the opposite of that. I have another like highly misogynistic take, because there's a way to make You're So Vain work in a way that I would like, where I would be like, this changes the song substantially.
Is it to do it as Starfuckers Incorporated by Nine Inch Nails?
Yeah, that's the one. You got okay. It. I can't believe you guessed that in one. No. So to preface, I mean, like, I know this song is very popular, but I suspect with our listeners, this is maybe not as well known a track. Originally, Carly Simon was singing this song with Harry Nilsson.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I love Harry Nilsson, but like that don't make no sense. And like, I guess like Mick Jagger like called on the phone and was like, "What you doing, Carly Simon?" And she was like, "I'm singing this song with Harry Nilsson. You should come over." And like he did, and then like it's like three of them singing it, and Harry Nilsson was like, "I am the thirdest of wheels," and then left.
It's a very noble act on Harry Nilsson's
Not
part,
vain enough
say.
for this song.
Yeah, I will tell you, Harry Nilsson, definitely
didn't
not
walk
somebody
into
I
the room
think
like he was
is
walking on a
listening.
yacht.
Yeah, not vain at all. If that's, if we're taking that story on face value, the opposite of vain. Here's the thing. The best part of this entire song is the way that like Carly and Mick Jagger's voices mingle together. Great. Boy, does that sound good. Here, it sounds so good to me that I fundamentally don't understand why it is that they didn't give Mick a whole verse. I think that if we're doing this in the fictional sense, right? Like we're making it so that You're So Vain is not actually just about like a particular guy or guys in her real life, or like you said, it's like a song about like how she's mad, but please don't tell anybody that she's mad. I think that if you have Mick sing a verse, then it becomes about how both people in this fictional relationship are kind of like low-key shitty narcissists. Mm-hmm. And like, boy, it's a good thing these vain assholes broke up. Sounds like that must have been the most insufferable relationship for their friends to endure. I love that. I think that that's a really fun song to listen to. Like that to me is like, I think that, when you talk about like Sabrina Carpenter, when she writes music, right? Like a lot of her stuff is very self-aware. Like she's attacking other people, but it's very obvious that like most of what she's doing is an attack on herself. Like I think if they, for some reason, having Mick sing the track a little bit would have transformed the way that I view it again. Maybe that's just me saying, man, I want a man to sing. Have a man sing this track. But like,
this is a fascinating what if, or a fascinating perspective. And like, I think that the song you're describing would be a really, really interesting song, but the protagonist of You're So Vain would never in a million years allow it to happen. To get the Mick perspective on the song. Like Carly Simon would have thrown her body on the fucking console and been like, yo, you got to get through me first if you want to have him like actually put his like thoughts to the song. It only really works, at least the version of You're So Vain that we've gotten that has become the culturally totemic version only really works when it's just one woman going way, way too hard.
Yeah, I don't think this needs a response or like a back and forth, because if I were the person You're So Vain was about, my response would be, yeah, the end. Like
true story.
Yeah.
and this is how you found out after all these years that Todd in the Shadows is a time traveler.
And,
and the song is about him. And he's like,
I probably do not think this song is about me.
But it is interesting to hear you kind of group these songs, Todd, as like two diss tracks against shitty dudes of the 70s. I mean, it's true, mm-hmm. But to me, only one of these songs was really a diss track. You're So Vain's a diss track. Dreams is just a breakup song. Like you don't hear that same kind of extra anger and like fury just kind of spouting out of her fingertips when Stevie Nicks sings the song. She sounds defeated.
Yeah, and also and Stevie Nicks has said as much. I just want to be very clear that she has said that like she viewed the breakup with Lindsay as like a little like she was philosophical, at least in this moment, and that like when Lindsay was writing his breakup songs, he was just mad.
Yeah, I did get that. This is not a scathing song. This is not like an angry song. But if this song was about me, I would probably be a lot more devastated than if You're So Vain was about me. You're So Vain is a fucking compliment. Dreams.
It sure is. That I agree with.
Dreams. I don't know what like the intended takeaway from this is, but like I would be devastated. It's like it's like, okay, cool. You do you. Bye. And that like I would never ever want to be on the end of that. Just something about, thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when it's playing. Women, they'll come and they'll go. You'll get yours in the end. You'll see. You'll know. And I don't know. That would haunt me. And I'm sure it has to its intended target.
Well, I mean, absolutely. He was incensed when he heard it, and then, you know, supposedly like realized what he could do with it musically, which is sort of like that's the entire appeal of Fleetwood Mac. But it's funny you said all that stuff, but then you skipped the lyric for me. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know. Holy shit, what a line! That's the best line in the whole damn song.
No, that's
Wait, so we still haven't. We've only talked about one of your three questions here, Todd. What were the other two?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
good grief, we've been talking too.
all right. Which one has the better music?
I guess it has to be Dreams, just because it's such a textbook production, and that like 2-note bass line is the greatest 2-note bass line in the history of 2-note bass lines. And like, say what you will about Lindsey Buckingham being a motherfucker, he knew how to produce like a drum sound, and the engineers with the miking of you can read like an entire book about how they mic'd the vocals and then the drums on this song. Ken Calais, the engineer, and the other guy's name I can't remember right now. But like every sound in this song is perfect. Like there is no fraying at the edges of Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. This is like you teach this shit in school. It sounds unbelievable. And the melody of it is really kind of subtle. Like I was saying, like that bass line is basically it for most of the verses. Like there's like a little Rhodes piano on there too, but mostly it's just that 2-note bass line and Stevie kind of dying on the microphone. And it's still absolutely hypnotic. And it's interesting how many like dance versions there have been of this song over the years. Like big remixes that get big in Europe or whatever.
I listened to the David Guetta version.
Sure.
Oh,
sure.
God.
But there's a pulse to it. Like there is that kind of disco energy to it, even though it's one of the saddest and like most defeated songs you've ever heard. It also kind of works on the dance floor in a weird way. It's not a drag to listen to at all. And there's really just not a lot of songs that can accomplish what this song does.
No, I think the answer is Dreams. Also, I do want to give it up to You're So Vain.
No slight on You're So Vain at all.
Listening to it with fresh ears. Boy, that like first the intro. Son of a gun. And it's like that's
again. I haven't even gotten started on the intro yet. That's an entirely separate category.
It's the best part of the song.
It is. I just love that. That's an angry intro. It's like you hear that. You're gonna hear some of the nastiest shit you ever fucking heard. And even when that bass line doesn't really come back, but after the intro, like I never noticed how hard this song kind of rocks. That it kind of reminds me of what the Eagles did on Linda Ronstadt's "You're No Good," a distant third entry in this matchup. I've never liked what they do with the chorus, especially the strings. I've never liked the strings.
The strings are a little heavy. I will give you that the strings are a little heavy.
Yeah, that's a little too much 70s cheese for me. That's a little too I Am Woman.
Mm-hmm. But the masterstroke musically in this song though is the transition from the verse to the chorus. The way it kind of winds up. The clouds in my coffee, clouds in my coffee, and
boom. Yeah,
that is master level shit.
It is, but like you said, there is really no compare. Like Fleetwood Mac's "Dreams" is like the best sounding song of all time. It has the best bass line of all time. Let's give it up to Fleetwood and Mac. They don't get enough credit, but it's funny. I got me some Rock Band drums during COVID, and I started playing Rock Band again. And what Mick Fleetwood does, it does not resemble anything anyone does. There's only Mick. I don't know drums enough to know what it is, but his drum patterns are completely different than basically anybody's. And obviously that bass line and that little bass lick around like the second verse, you listen to it. There's when you wrap around your dreams, and John McVie does a little riff that is different from the entire rest of the song. It is the tightest groove that has ever existed. It is amazing. I love that it only has 2 chords, except for a third chord in the solo. And it never resolves. It never goes back to the tonic. It is always the 4, the 5, and occasionally the 6, but it never hits the 1 again.
Beato. Sorry.
Another song that does that is Teenage Dream. 3 chords, none of them, it never resolves. And I think I tried to make a mashup of those two songs at one point, but I don't know how to mash things up. So,
yeah, I mean, I think we can move on to the next category. There is no arguing against Dreams from a musical standpoint.
Right.
Yeah, I do want to say that I think, again, like, I think the instrumentation is the best part of You're So Vain to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it still doesn't hold the candle. And I also, like, just to button up the lyric conversation, you know, supposedly, like, the demo is just Stevie and a piano. And, like, there was sort of like a question of, like, is there really a song there? And, like, the answer came once, like, Lindsey Buckingham came in and, like, added all the layers to it. But I want to say that, like, there is a cover by Lisi that's just a piano. And I'm going to tell you, it fucking hits. It fucking hits, dude. Like, forget it. So I think that's the reason why lyrically Dreams also hits for me, is that, like, just a piano and her, it's like, sounds amazing to me.
Speaking of piano covers of Dreams, have you heard like a pre-fame, pre-makeup even, Chappell Roan doing this on piano?
Oh, I should listen to that.
Also really good, and also kind of works like you're saying, like even taking away the brilliant production of the song is just such a Swiss watch musically that you kind of can't go wrong there.
God, these two songs invented the main pop girl. It's incredible.
Ella Langley's done it too. It really is remarkable. Between these two songs, you get basically the entire scope of 2026 pop music.
What's the third question, Todd?
What's the better story? The better mythos.
So we're talking about the better story behind the song as opposed to the better story told within the song?
Yeah. The mythology is like, you know, the story of, like, who is it about? Or the story of, you know, the grand drama of Fleetwood Mac.
Well, I guess it's sort of hard to go. I mean, oh God, these really are two of the great abouts of the 70s, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I mean, You're So Vain is the one that, like, people have spent literally thousands of dollars to try to get to the bottom of, like, and she's out there, like, playing Wheel of Fortune, like, oh, we got one E, we got two A's, like, that's actually, like, the least interesting part of the song to me, to be honest. The who is it about thing. I mean, maybe if I was alive in the 70s, I'd feel differently. The meaning of the song does not change to me significantly, whether it's about Mick Jagger or Warren Beatty or about three totally disconnected dudes that Carly Simon knew at one point in her life. None of that really matters, but it does. I appreciate that it's given the song the kind of cultural resonance that it has, because I think it deserves it for any number of other reasons.
Yeah.
I just don't care. I have never cared.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's, like, supposedly, like, a story where, like, she told Howard Stern. And then Howard Stern, they were like, who did she say? And he was like, honestly, I forgot. And I was like,
that sounds right.
I was like, you know what, Howard Stern, like, that is what I would have promptly forgotten. I would have been like, I don't even know who that is. I would have had, like, I don't know her Mariah Carey response.
But that is part of what makes the Mick Jagger vocal work so well, that the fact that he is kind of one of the considered targets of the song, the fact that he's on the fucking track does give it a little bit of an extra something.
I agree.
It does. But again, like, the strongest something it gives is that their vocals just mingle so well.
Yeah.
Again, like, other than, like, what, you know, that opening, like, that angry little guitar sound at the beginning, and I think some of the musical choices throughout, just the way that they sound together is so good for a song that I just don't like.
What do you say about this, Todd?
I don't care either. But I do like that people care. You know, I do like that there is, like, this entire mythology built around people trying to find out who this is, and it makes it feel, you know, the song even bigger. I like that there's, like, a ridiculous story that everyone knows. This urban legend is like, who is it? It's David Geffen or whoever.
Oh yeah, well, I think has definitively said it's not him. That's, like, on the list of it's not, which I suppose probably only fuels people to think that it is him. But yeah, this really is, like, I had not even considered the proto, like, how this informs modern pop music, but, like, this truly, like, Sabrina Carpenter being asked, like, who's Man-Child about?
Like, who said it had to be anybody? He's like, maybe I write fiction. What could...
Well, it's also, like, notable
there is a lot of that, you know. There is so much of that, and also it makes so much, like, the Taylor Swift factor is, like, so undeniable. What if, like, who would Taylor Swift be?
And it's funny that both Olivia Rodrigo and Sabrina Carpenter have covered this song because the You're So Vain of the 2020s is basically Driver's License.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean, well, the You're So Vain of the 2020s is every song any girl has.
And that's
yeah. So true. So many. But yeah, I mean, like, for sure, I think that Sabrina and Olivia, like, because like their like Dirty Laundry like played out on such a big stage. As a result, the popularity of that song, like, it does feel like the modern equivalent in a lot of ways. But yeah. Also, sidebar, the new Olivia Rodrigo album, very good.
Yeah.
Hot take, great album.
I think that, well, I mean, that one's the furthest she's gotten away from these kind of songs. Yeah. But the crazy thing about Lindsay and Stevie is that it's still happening. And that people are still
right. 50 years and nothing has changed. Yeah.
It's still going on. Like they did a big promo for the re-release of their solo album's not the word, but the Buckingham Nicks album they did before they joined Fleetwood Mac.
Oh, God, that's a great record.
And something about their terrible, terrible romance, which never sounded good at any point, has just so thoroughly captured, even though all the stuff people care about it happened in the breakup, but like people are still invested in their relationship. That's so fucking crazy to me. I went on a date with a girl and I had never heard Silver Springs before, but like she introduced it to me because she was clearly not over the last guy. And
it's an interesting move on a first date, but go on.
You'd have to know her, but no, she like it was like, so it just never goes away. Like Silver Springs, from the dance, that was they've been breaking up for 20 goddamn years at that point. And they're making like fictional versions of it. I didn't see it. Was it Daisy something in the Six, or is that what it's called?
Daisy Jones in the Six? No, yeah. I don't recommend it. Yeah,
it didn't look good. It's the crappy streaming show, but
also there was a Tony winning play, whose name I can't even remember right now, but I saw it, and it was also like a fictionalized version of a 70s rock band that was very Fleetwood Mac-esque, and that was fucking awesome. It had like music by one of the Arcade Fire guys, and the fake songs were very Fleetwood Mac-esque. And like, yeah, their story continues to reverberate as like vividly and as like impactfully as it ever has, basically.
Yeah, I feel like low key every single messy romance on a popular TV show. You know what I mean? Like, and like
they're just doing Buckingham Nicks.
But like, I think that this is a thing. This is a thing that just appeals to people, right? Like, I was way too old to be watching Gossip Girl when it came out, but I liked it because it was about messy idiots doing messy romance shit. And like, I've watched a lot of shows in my life for that reason. We covered Heated Rivalry. The Buckingham Nicks of our era.
But the great thing about Buckingham and Nicks as like an ongoing rivalry is that not just that they're exes, but that they have to continue to be like teammates, basically. It's the same sort of thing that made Shaq and Kobe so explosive as an NBA rivalry 25 years ago. It's like these two people that are both equally brilliant and indispensable to the thing that they do cannot coexist really on the same level without the other one, but are just constantly being driven insane by the things that the other one does. That's always going to be the greatest story, is those two. So maybe we should give this category to them. I don't know. It's close.
Holy crap, we've been talking.
I know.
We still haven't done the intros yet. I still want to do the intros.
Okay, go do the intros.
Thank you. So I sort of see the two intros of these songs being kind of parallel. When y'all did the Billie Jean versus When Doves Cry episode,
mm-hmm.
I think you can really see the difference in between those two songs in the intros, because Billie Jean's is like textbook layering, perfect one instrument added after the next. It builds exactly as you want it to, and then it kind of leads very naturally into the song. And When Doves Cry starts in the middle of a guitar solo and sounds like absolute cacophony and like, what the fuck is even happening here? But it's also incredible and brilliant and all that. And so in this situation, Dreams is the Billie Jean, where it's just that perfect drum fill into that gorgeous bass line, a little of that sighing guitar. Now here you go again. You say you want your freedom. You could not script a better intro than the intro to Dreams. but the best intro of the two songs is the You're So Vain intro because it's fucking nuts. And it literally has nothing to do with the rest of the song. It was not even supposed to be part of the song. The bass part, which sounds like a spider, like walking over an upright bass. It was just something that the bassist Klaus Vormann was fiddling around with while he was working with Carly. And her reaction is that son of a gun reaction. She heard him do that thing, and she went, son of a gun. And Richard Perry, the producer, was like, okay, that's the way the song's starting. And I don't know what divine inspiration led him to do that, but even though it's totally disconnected from the rest of the song, it is the most indelible part of the song, probably. And I've heard her say that what she sees that kind of bubbling, like the spider walking part of it, she sees that as the sound of the guy strutting into the party at the beginning of the song.
Like he's walking on a yacht?
Like that. That's not what I hear it as. I hear it as like the fury really starting to rise within her.
Agreed.
It's like the urge to kill rising kind of thing.
Totally agree.
It's the perfect way to set the song off, even though musically it is so wildly disconnected from the rest of it. It's hard to imagine the song without it at this point.
Oh, it is the song. It is the song, and it's the one thing everyone knows about it after, you probably think this song is about you.
I just, again, like, this is the thing, right? Like, Carly Simon will set up something and I'll be like, yeah. And then it just goes to a place that I'm ultimately really disinterested in. This is kind of my beef with her. But like, ultimately, like, yeah, this is great. And like, it's almost like the difference between like an Ani DeFranco versus like an Alanis Morissette, right? Like Ani, like very chaotic, Alanis, like obviously like also like creating very angry, like riotous music, but like in a much more controlled way.
That makes sense. You guys want to do the questions? I feel like
I got to be honest with you. I think we already have done the questions. I would like to do.
We haven't answered the specific questions though.
Yeah, but we have, haven't we? Though we basically have. I think we should do. Let's do the first question because I think it's the relevant one that we haven't covered, which is one of them's going to disappear and the other one is going to stay around forever.
Oh,
the culture question. This is it, right? Like I think everything else we kind of hit. Culturally speaking, which is the one that has to stay?
Oh man, that's hard. Honestly, continually big as Dreams continues to be, I feel like the bigger hole would be You're So Vain.
The biggest hole.
Yeah.
So to speak. I think Dreams, there are other Fleetwood Mac songs that could maybe serve a similar function. Sarah is not a totally dissimilar song and is also really, really beautiful. It's not quite as perfect as Dreams is, but it could be Dreams if there was no Dreams. There's nothing in the 20th century like You're So Vain. Except for You Ought to Know, I guess, 20 years later. Speaking of Alanis. But that song doesn't happen without You're So Vain, so.
I see that, but we are gonna do all four questions. God damn it.
Really? All right. Well, we're going to have to blaze through them because this is a long episode.
Yeah, we can do it quick, but we are answering them.
I'm still taking Dreams on this. I just can't imagine a world without it. I understand that, like, I don't know. You know what? I think Taylor Swift would manage. I think she'd still find a way. I think, you know what? Like, I'm sure that it's influential. I don't doubt that she loves it. But, like, in a world where You're So Vain doesn't exist, I think Taylor Swift still does. Feeling pretty confident about this, that she's talented enough that it would be okay.
Fair point.
All right. So the second question is the fly on the wall question. You could experience soup to nuts creation of one and only one of these two songs. What's the one where you're like, I really want to see how the sausage got made? To me, this is very obviously You're So Vain.
Oh, I actually was going to say Dreams for this.
Yeah, me too.
Interesting. I mean, like the Harry Nilsson of it all, like I would love, because like there is no I've never, not that I'm aware of, seeing like what did that sound like? What was like the Harry Nilsson part? Like when Harry Nilsson, Mick Jagger, and Carly Simon were all singing on the mic together. What was that like? Like obviously it was not as great as just the two since Harry Nilsson left, but like I love Harry Nilsson so much, and the idea of like getting like that little bit of extra history and being able to see how those three personalities would interact sounds really cool. And yeah, also I think you'd get a sense of like where were Mick and Carly at in whatever their relationship was and what was that chemistry like. I don't know. I think that like that's really, there's a really interesting story behind that. And like, I feel like the dreams of it all has been explored.
I don't know.
I
would just want to see the moment where Lindsey Buckingham hears the song for the first time, and like is Lindsey, the ex-boyfriend, is so pissed off, and Lindsey, the bandmate, is like, I'm about to make the best fucking song of all time.
I would watch 500 hours just of microphone placement footage. Dreams. Like, yeah, let's move it like 2 centimeters to the right. Like, yeah, I will watch every single take. Absolutely.
All right. So I think we both covered that pretty well. I think that I would watch that also. Anyway, I would like, who would not want to watch Fleetwood Mac in prime meltdown mode while they're in? That sounds like it would be fun to me.
God, Megan Thee Stallion, question number 3. I don't know if we should really be saying like she's going to shake her ass to one of these two, but like, I don't know. I mean, like, Megan Thee Stallion has got plenty of reason to be mad.
Yeah.
So like
exes in particular, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So like if she's making a playlist for that purpose, let's say, what's she putting on there?
You know, it's fascinating because Carly Simon already has the Janet Jackson cosign, and Stevie Nicks already has the Destiny's Child cosign, though not for that particular song. So which one do I think? I feel like it's probably You're So Vain. It's probably You're So Vain for Megan. I didn't realize you were so disgusted with the Janet Jackson song.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad song, and I certainly, no hate to Janet Jackson, of course. I just did a very long podcast series about Janet Jackson, but that song on the album version in particular, everything you could possibly not like about Carly Simon is exemplified by her contributions to that song. She like just takes everything that's good about her vocals on the original and just kind of bebops and scats them to hell. She kind of sounds like Kim Cattrall in that one viral video. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know.
Well, you can look it up later. You'll understand, I think. But like, she gets way too into like the clouds of it all. She's like, "What are you, some kind of cumulonimbus capistratus?" And it just gets fucking ugly at a certain point. But no shade to Janet Jackson or all for you. You're a Janet Jackson, which I'm generally very fond of. I agree that it's You're So Vain in this category. I think that both of these songs can very easily function as true hot girl shit. But certainly, yeah, like Meg just kind of getting ready to go out and kill for the night and just being like, yeah, walking motherfucker. Like, yeah,
you
let's
son
go.
of a gun, as she want to say.
I have to say, I agree. However, I can imagine in September of 2020 and Megan Thee Stallion like riding a skateboard and sipping ocean spray. I absolutely, like with the arm out and everything, absolutely can. But yeah, I mean, for sure, I think You're So Vain is the obvious answer to that one. All right, so the fourth question, the final question, most important question we ask, not just like in the podcast, but like all questions ever. William Shatner, thespian, equestrian, singer, we're going to give it to him. He's going to do a William Shatner version of one and only one of these two songs. Which of them must be shot upon? Oots.
I mean, the obvious answer is You're So Vain, right? Like just to hear him do the son of a gun. That alone, I think, kind of seals the deal. So she kind of wins that in the first 2 seconds.
Yeah, it is. It's You're So Vain again. Like William Shatner would only take away from Dreams, and he would only enhance You're So Vain. Like,
I think that's absolutely, I completely agree with this. Like, somewhere he's going to mispronounce and have like a sabotage moment in that song, and like I'm there for it.
Well,
he could lean into a couple lines, like him talking about the crystal visions would be pretty funny, I think.
Yeah, I just want to hear the confusion in his voice when he talks about the clouds in his coffee.
Yeah, he is Joe Banks. He's not Joe Fox. Joe Banks is from
Joe vs. Volcano.
Anyway, Joe Fox, he is the Joe Fox character. Like, it's Clouds Illusions, I recall. I really don't know Clouds at all. Like, what are you, a pilot? Like, that sounds like something that Shatner would say.
It does. It does. Okay. We've got blazed through the questions. Are we done?
No,
that's right. We still have the reader comments. For some reason, we give you a voice too. So,
real nice.
I love you guys. I'm kidding. All right. Tom Randall writes, that TikTok of the guy with the cranberry juice would have had a way different vibe with You're So Vain instead of Dreams.
Yeah, that would not have gotten me through 2020. No. That's for sure.
All right. Jake G writes, I was looking at the most recent UK charts and was baffled by the sudden jump of Dreams from number 83 the previous week to number 18 this week. I wondered what had happened to cause such a resurgence, and now I know why. It's because the UK collectively is eagerly awaiting the next Song versus Song episode.
Always true. Always true.
It's always going viral for one reason or another. This episode is as good a reason as any.
All right. Nick Field writes, just this once, you need to replace Megan Thee Stallion with Taylor Swift for the question segment. We kind of did.
So, yeah.
We certainly talked about Taylor.
Yes. As must we all of us, all the time, talking about Taylor Swift. All right. Angelo writes, there's a One's a detective show I like, as in one's a cop and one's a something else and they solve crime, that likes to name its episodes based on puns. Anyway, they had an episode in the 3rd season called Yurt So Vain. I assume they were camping in the mountains or something. I don't know why they felt the need to include that, but I felt the need to tell you guys about it. Yurt So Vain.
Noted.
All right. Torak writes, you're so vain and you don't even like boys.
That's a good one. Multiple Katy Perry messages on this podcast. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, who knew? Who knew that Katy was going to enter the chat?
As one of the very few pop stars that is not like overtly influenced by the shit of either of these two songs.
Yeah, that's what.
We thought we were free of Katy Perry, and then she's doing stuff with Dua Lipa. We'll never be free.
Well, that might mean we're free of Dua Lipa, quite honestly. But,
oh God. Oh.
Boy, Katy Perry's last single was a breakup song. You probably didn't hear it, but it's, about her divorce. And it resembles neither of these songs, and it's terrible. Yeah. So, all right.
I thought it was okay.
I was not impressed. All right. All right. Franco Del Rio writes, rhyming yacht with apricot and gavotte is Eminem coded for better or worse. I had some dreams there were clouds in my awfully hot coffee pot.
This is all incredibly complimentary to Eminem, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. ECH writes, the baseline on Dreams is, to be crude, downright sexually stimulating, especially that little flair with the lyrics around the 220 mark. That's the one I was talking about. And I'd also say there's something delightful about the slander target not being a speculative figure, but literally a player on the song itself, probably seething on coke at some point performing it.
Do you think that little kind of like going AWOL section for John McVie during the solo was him just insisting, like, I'm going to be playing this song for the rest of my life. Please give me something else to do aside from these two notes?
It might be. But it's so perfect, I don't think he would have had to fight very hard for it.
Yeah.
Michael Murphy writes, so the connection is both songs have someone named Mick on backup vocals? Did Mick sing?
I was watching a live performance of it recently, and I think you can see him at least. I mean, he's not the strongest vocal presence, certainly, but he's at least moving his lips to that chorus.
And you know what? One last one. Let's just finish it off because we've been talking so long. Glassel writes, you're so vain, you probably think this matchup's a fair one. I do, and with that note, I think it's time to read the results. Andrew, Lena, who do you think won? And how much do you think Dreams won by?
Dreams 75-25?
75-25?
90-10.
Wow.
I know the results, but my guess would have also been 90-10. Quite honestly. Otherwise, I would have put this matchup up by itself 2 years ago when I thought of it. But here we go. For a total of 524 to 308. A 67-33 split. Wow. Sylvain has a huge upset by only losing 2-1.
For a 16 seed, that's pretty good for your Sylvain. I'm impressed.
Yeah, so, just like the Spurs, who wildly overperformed by only losing in 5. We are New York partisans in this podcast, but yeah.
There you go. I mean, I don't.
So.
Yeah, I don't think that it's quite like that. It's not quite like the Knicks didn't win in 5 so much as the Spurs just consistently lost. I don't know if I would categorize this quite the same way.
Truly, the 2026 New York Knicks are the Fleetwood Mac of NBA teams.
Sure.
Sure, truly. No. I feel gratified because I was scared this was going to be like a total, 99 to 1%, quite honestly. So good for you, Carly. You're so vain, but obviously Dreams is going to take this all the way. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Andrew Unterberger. As always, we love having you on. If you like us, we have a Patreon where you can, give us some money. We're good people, and you listen to us the entire way through. You might as well. We also do bonus episodes. They made us watch the entirety of Heated Rivalry, the gay hockey show. And you can vote on, continue to vote, and you can make us watch other things too if you want. And we'd appreciate it. We like money. Podcasts are hard. They're much harder than it looks. And also, we are trying to help the trans community. We have some places you can donate also in the links. Please do. The world's bad. The world's bad and could be better, and you can make it better. I think I got it all. Oh, right, except the next matchup. And Lena, this is one of yours as an apology.
Okay. Can't wait to find out which of the many ones I've said that you've been like, eh. I literally had a conversation with a friend yesterday, and he asked me when is the last time one of my pairings appeared, and it has been almost a full year.
I'm sorry.
You monster.
Okay. For the next one, we're going to be doing Love Fool by the Cardigans versus Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer.
Is that
that's going to be a bloodbath, too.
Is it? No, it's not. How dare you? I don't even know which one you think it is.
Bloodbath? Well, I suppose you'll hash that out in due time, and we can further sidebar about that offline.
Okay.
I don't want to prejudice the people ahead of the fact.
You can go back into my, our conversations. You did pick that one.
I'll take your word on it. I will say before we go, hey, there's a new Carly Simon song. It literally just dropped.
Oh, really?
I'm not going to say whether I liked it or not because I feel like I badmouthed her enough. But hey, if you listened to this and was like, wow, Lena, you're such a bitch.
You're such a bitch.
Yeah, you're a bitch. Anyway, go listen to Carly Simon's new song. I think it's called Howl. Throw a little support her way.
All right. Bye, everybody.